And by fully destroying him politically and fully annihilating politically the Democrats that are butchering our Bill of Rights and Constitution, we can take this country back. And that's why they're screaming bloody murder. That's why they're going to stage terror attacks all over the United States and worldwide to be blamed on patriot groups, because they are beginning to get very, very desperate. They can't beat us politically. They can't beat our information with their lies and rhetoric, and so they are going to attempt to run false flags. And what do you think the Joe Stack situation was? Definitely false flag. The Pentagon shooting, definitely false flag. Most of these Democratic Party offices being attacked. We know some of those have been confirmed to be staged by DNC operatives. That's Denver Post and other major publications. We know a week and a half ago, the Black Congressional Caucus marching through the Tea Parties. No one called them the N-word. No one said they were going to kill them. No one spit on them. All the video angles are out there. We're over a weekend to a $10,000 reward that a group put out for anybody that could show video of this, with literally hundreds, if not thousands, of cameras in the tens of thousands of demonstrators. And no one can show it. And the supposed incident is all on video from multiple angles, and nothing like that was said. They were saying, kill the bill. That got turned into, we're going to kill you. No one said the N-word. No one spit on them. That is a false flag. And AP, Reuters, McClatchy, MSNBC, CNN. I was watching both CNN and MSNBC a little bit last night, about 20 minutes apiece. And just when I spot checked them, they were saying, the horrible N-word being screamed by the racist Tea Parties, the horrible spitting, the horrible saying kill, kill, all lies. And this Atari situation is clearly a false flag. We're going to be going over that later in the broadcast. Evidence that what I said on Monday was true, that these people were set up, and that there were informants inside. Now, why would several other supposed militia groups in Michigan and other states criticize me Monday for saying that? Why would anyone criticize me for saying this group was set up and are innocent? Why would so-called militia people not want you to know that you're being infiltrated? Because they're either morons or they're feds. Think about that. Think about the magnitude of back in August of last year that I singled out the Hatari militia and said they're being set up for a fall. Look out. And I got one of their leaders on, Pale Horse, Sickles is his real name, and told him, if you're not a Fed, you're being handled by Feds, you better watch your butt. Now we have the federal affidavit. We have the detainment hearing while they prepare the final charges. Came out in court yesterday. I have that out of Detroit News. In fact, I didn't see that in my printout here. I IM'd you that Detroit News. And in that article, it points out, and the reporters were in the courtroom, that the Feds played a tape where they just, in fact, I want to pull the quote up, where they said, yeah, we've got to do something about this New World Order takeover. We got to take action. And that supposedly is the reason that they have now been arrested for thought crimes. And the federal affidavit admits that they had an FBI agent inside the group and an informant who has been arrested, but just for their safety, and that they're going to drop the charges later once people aren't paying attention to this. Always the same. And we don't know who that is, but I have my suspicions. In fact, normally in a group they're setting up, if there's 9 members, I'd say 4 or 5 are Feds. What do? They get somebody on some other charges years previous, and they say, you work for us now. But, they tried to do that with Randy Weaver. He needed money for more than a year. The federal informant, BATF, actual agent, begged him and said, I'll give you $2,000 to just saw off this shotgun for me. He finally did it, and the rest was history. They went and raided his home, shot his wife, shot his son, shot the dog, to create the illusion that there were all these dangerous domestic groups out there that had to be dealt with. And he was a former Green Beret. And so they could demonize former veterans. It's nothing but a cutout for media propaganda. Now, I would imagine if I was around politically back in 1993, 92, when that went down, late 1992, and I would have got on air and said, Randy Weaver was set up, he was infiltrated, you would see the Feds come out as patriot leaders and say, Alex Jones is a Fed, nobody set up Weaver, he's fighting a holy battle against the government. Don't you see the alarm bells going off? How obvious is that? Because we're trying to stop violence. We're trying to stop provocateuring actions. We know we're winning politically, peacefully right now, and our numbers are swelling. They want to try to shut down free speech, shut down the web, and they want to get their physical war going now with us before we have time to wake up the maximum number. And then if the feds want to get violent, well, we defend ourselves and we win.
Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right.
We're going to have Barry and Candy Cooper, who had their children taken by CPS in Williamson County, coming up later in the broadcast today. I mean, this is incredible. Incredible isn't even the word. I have the CPS/police report, and it says reason for taking the children. Parents are unsuitable and create an environment where the children believe the government is out to harm them. Well, if that's the case, all children 100 years ago would have been taken from their parents, but we didn't have a CPS, because that is an American tradition. That is an American value to only trust your family and don't just blindly trust the government. I had the Dr. Frederick Whitehurst, the former head of the FBI crime lab, on 2 days ago, and he said criminals have taken over almost every key position in local and federal government. He said a lot of police officers and FBI agents are some of the best people in the world, and I agree with him. There are good people that get involved, and then they get punished. But more and more, the higher-ups, as Dr. Frederick Whitehurst, FBI agent, lawyer, scientist, chemist, as he pointed out, now we've reached a level of tyranny where the criminals at the higher levels are kicking out the good people and recruiting more and more evil. And I don't know what other term you use than wicked, evil, corrupt for Williamson County. I mean, I see articles all the time where somebody doesn't return a Blockbuster video for a week and a half and they get arrested, or a library book, they forget, they lose it. We've all done that. I was going through videos the other day and found a video from a video store about 5 years ago, and I didn't know. I hadn't brought it in. They never called me. I have no idea why I have it. I mean, should I go to jail for something worth about $10 if it's not conscious? Meanwhile, the illegal aliens are above the law. Williamson County doesn't arrest illegal aliens for drunk driving and not having IDs. They're all part of that same system. But citizens, I saw an article yesterday in the AP how nationwide police have been ordered to raise their quotas after decades of denying they had quotas for tickets. Now they're saying, don't give people their 5-mile cushion. You ever notice how cops sit at the bottom of hills? I drive down 360 every day, and I have to remember as I go down this hill, because I'll be going about 60, to watch it, or I'll go 65, 70 because of the going downhill. And there's almost always motorcycle cops, Austin, Travis County sheriff's deputies, DPS, because they know that's a middle-class area, and the people are just going to pay the tickets, and they're there constantly. They're there to raise money. But now, Barry Cooper dared to go run stings against Williamson County. He's been on national television with his stings. And they then raided him. Police raid, never get busted, HQ, Barry Cooper arrested. And then here's the new article. Police teaching kids to mistrust government makes couple unsuitable parents. That's why the children were taken. I have the Williamson County confidential document. This was given to us by the Coopers. This document contains information made confidential. It should not be released to unauthorized persons. Well, the family can release whatever they want. Cooper, Candace, see, they want to do this in the dark, the stuff they do. Releasable copy, volume 1. Can you imagine? This is the releasable. Can you imagine what's in the secret copy? And on page 4, it says that if children do not know how to dial 911, they may be taken. And it goes on. Please explain your current concerns regarding supervision of the children. Parents, this is all it says, parents are unsuitable and create an environment where the children believe the government is out to harm them. Let me tell you something. When I went to Rockwall Middle School and high school, they had police informants that would try to sell kids marijuana. They just beg you. Even when I was in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I learned about marijuana from the police dealers. And they were constantly trying to sell me pot, everybody else. And I'd say maybe a third of the kids they busted and put on probation because their operatives would sell them a joint. My dad told me, if they ever bring you into the office and say you've been buying drugs, which I wasn't, do not talk.